Hi guys, welcome back to Oily Skin Diaries week day 6. Every single day this week I have been testing out a new foundation on my oily skin. I will link to my previous reviews down below. Today, however, we are chatting about a brand new stick foundation from NARS. It is their Velvet Matte Stick. And I'm really excited about this. I really love NARS's concealers. I love their blushes. I think they make some really, really beautiful products, and I have been so into stick foundations lately. So I will link to some timestamps down below that point out specific parts of this review if you want to skip ahead, but let's go ahead and get started. This foundation is a part of their fall 2017 launches, but from what I can tell, it is a permanent addition. There are 20 shades in the range, which is amazing. I feel like NARS generally does a pretty good job with their shade ranges. They're always quite wide and seem to be pretty well fitting. It of course comes in a stick format and retails for $45 American, $55 Canadian. You're getting 0.31 ounces in there, which I don't really know what the average size for a stick foundation is, but it's about on par with the Anastasia stick, a little bit less than Makeup Forever and more than Hourglass. It claims to be good for sensitive, dry, normal, combination, and oily skin, have a matte finish with medium coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on my skin and we will see how it lasts throughout the day. Of course, I will prime this half of my face. I'm going to be wearing the shade Tahoe, but I also might mix in a little bit of Barcelona. I think I actually might be Syracuse, which is the shade that's just in the middle, but we will see how it kind of works out. And it also has this little blendery thing on it, which is supposed to be good for on the go and touch-ups. It feels nice, kind of like a little sponge, but I am just going to use a brush because that's kind of my preferred method for stick foundations. It also doesn't have any claims of SPF in there, so we'll test that out in the photo test. Put on just a little bit of Barcelona. It does glide on really, really nicely. It's not pulling at all. And it says that it has like powders and things in there that are supposed to help mattify, along with things like, so blends out incredibly easy. But I am going to build it up. That's like a super light coverage right now. NARS is one of those brands that is kind of special to me. I remember one of my first ever high-end blushes was NARS Exhibit A, which is that really bright red blush. And I remember always wanting NARS Albatross, which was like a highlighter that was popular before highlighters were really popular. I still kind of want it. I don't know why I haven't bought it. So I'm just going to kind of stipple this into my skin a little bit and blend. It blends like so nicely. I think you could also use a beauty blender with it too. That would probably alter the coverage a little bit. Put on a little bit more. I think it's a pretty true medium. I don't think you'd be able to get this to full, which is fine, and I like a medium coverage myself. I feel like a lot of the times when I watch foundation reviews, sometimes people expect things to get to full coverage even when they're not supposed to, but not everything needs to be full coverage. I've given the foundation some time to set and I think it looks really good. It definitely is a medium coverage, light to medium, but I think that looks really nice and light on the skin, and I also think it feels really, really weightless, which is kind of an oxymoron, but it doesn't feel heavy on my skin at all. Definitely doesn't look matte though, so I'm going to powder, but I would powder anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup and take some photos, and I'll be right back. Here we are with my full face, and I think that things look really, really good now that I have powdered it. Of course, it is looking much more matte on the skin. It still feels really lightweight. It looks lightweight. I was just looking up really close at my face, and I think that it looks really, really nice. So far so good in photos as well. I think it looks quite nice. I'm also wearing the NARS Soft Matte Concealer, so I thought I would test that for flashback as well. Just here in my studio lighting, the foundation looks good. There's obviously a sheen to my skin, but it looks quite natural. Then when I bring in flash photo and turn down my lights, I think the foundation looks really good. The concealer does have some flashback, so something to keep in mind. It is a bit of a lighter concealer though, and I think once everything's powdered, it would look much better. I'm also wearing one of their fall 2017 lipsticks, which I love. It's such a beautiful peachy shade. It's in the shade Vivek. I'll put it down below. Everything else that's listed on my face will all be in the description bar. So I'm going to go ahead about my day. How many times have I said that this week? And I will check back with you midway. It's time to do a little check-in, and I think that things look really good. I am just going to blot just to really try and get the most wear out of this. I think that it's holding up really well. I was out earlier and it is quite hot today, and it didn't break up on my skin. It doesn't feel oily at all, still feels super lightweight, hasn't oxidized, and my primed side is looking more matte than the unprimed side. But But I think this might be another stick foundation win, which is really exciting because it's just so convenient. And I think that a lot of people are going to be able to find their shade match in this one, which is nice. So yeah, I will continue on about my day as always, you know the drill, and check back with you at the end of it. Here we are, and I gotta say, I really like this foundation. I know that I am shiny, but for me, I have incredibly oily skin, because I had somebody comment, they were like, you're shiny, why do you like this foundation? Because I'm shiny no matter what. Anybody who's like truly really oily, that's kind of the case. So for me, I look for something that is long wearing, that doesn't oxidize on my skin, that doesn't break apart, that doesn't get too transfery, and this definitely ticks all of those boxes. I also really love the coverage. I love the way that it felt on my skin. It feels really lightweight. Of course, and I've said this before, the longer that I wear a foundation and the longer that I let the oils kind of build up on my face, the heavier it feels. But if I do blot throughout the day, it definitely feels a lot better. And I think that this had really good wear considering I was out earlier. It was really hot, and then it's just been kind of hot in my apartment all day too. So I am just really happy with this foundation. I think it's such an easy foundation. It's so nice to blend out. Looks really beautiful on the skin. It feels lightweight and has a nice light to medium coverage. So if you're in the market for something like that, I think this is really beautiful. I definitely think the shade Syracuse will be a pretty perfect match for me. Tahoe will be a good one when I have some color on my skin. So if you are a similar shade match to me, definitely keep that in mind. And of course, as I always say, try and get a sample or test it out before you purchase it. Or if you always, like if you buy something from Sephora and you don't end up liking it, you can return it even if it has been used within 30 days. So day 6 was definitely a success. I'm really glad that this foundation worked out, and be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's review. It is the last of Oily Skin Diaries week, and I'm going to be testing out one of the most full coverage foundations in the world, apparently. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!